Hey friends, and welcome to today's mobility flow. I'm calling it mobility because I do have some props with me. They're not required, they are just ways to kind of explore space a little bit differently, maybe provide a little bit more feedback, activation, support, all those kinds of things. So, what I have with me today is a long resistance band, something that is light in resistance, maybe medium if you really find that feedback to be helpful. So I have that with me. I have a yoga block. You can do anything like a book or even like a tissue box. You're not putting a ton of weight on it. It's just kind of bringing a little bit more space between you and the ground. So I have a yoga block for that. And then last but not least, I have a little foam roller. Again, this is not something that is required, but you might find it helpful to kind of pull you into these different spaces that we'll be moving into throughout today's class. And now with all that, if it helps give you a better idea of what to grab if you don't have that explicitly with you, we're going to be working through the spine and more specifically move through the thoracic spine. We all carry some degree of restriction within that space. And even if you feel pretty good in that area, it can feel really nice to work a little bit deeper into those rotational, those side bending movements, just to give a little bit more room through the spine, more movement through the diaphragm, and then in turn, have a nice, healthy, mobile pelvic floor. So, once you have what you need or what you think you might use, let's go ahead and meet in child's pose to start. And so when you're coming into this space, bring those big toes together to touch, knees come wide, and then just gently come down onto your forearms. If you would like to place a block underneath your seat, you're welcome to kind of slip that under the space between your feet to give you something to rest those hips onto. And then we're just coming into our breath, getting started. You're feeling the hips go heavy toward the heels. The hands or the forearms are gently nudging your hips back, finding length through the low back. That tailbone is aiming toward the floor between the heels. And the head of the neck is soft, heavy toward the floor. You're welcome to stay propped up on forearms if that feels good. But if you'd like to walk the hands out, fall a little bit heavier toward your mat, you're welcome to. But as you begin to settle here, maybe some sways left to right as you nestle the torso between the thighs. When you start to focus on the pull of that breath in, trying to bring that breath down and into the body as low as it can go. But give yourself some grace as you continue to explore space, create space with the breath. As you pull that air in, feeling the belly fall, the rib cage expand, creating space between each individual rib as you breathe the air in to all those little nooks and crannies. And then with that inhale, with that expansion, do you feel a little lift or lengthen within the low back? A little drop and expansion within the base of the pelvis. And then exhale, you just let your body settle even heavier into your space. A few more breaths here. Big inhale, fill up, pull that air in, expand. And then on the exhale, you settle a little bit further. Hips begin to soften. Toes continue to relax down onto the earth. Big inhale, breathe in, fill up. Exhale, you settle. And then just beginning to find some movement within the spine. Keeping those hips heavy toward the heels, just start to walk the hands over toward the right side. Emphasis is on where the left hand is in space. The right hand, it can stack. You can even have fingertips to help guide you into that side body stretch. Or palm of the hand down onto the earth to help you reach a little further through those left fingertips. Keeping those butt bones anchored toward the heels. Take a big breath into that left side. And then the exhale, you reach, you settle, chest down to the earth. And then inhale the hands back through center, walking over toward the left. Again, the focus is on the reach of that right hand, so reaching those right fingertips and then maybe drawing that right hip crease back in space. Left hand can stack with the right, or you can just kind of use that to help bump your rib cage, that right rib cage over toward the right side of the room. Take a big breath in here. On the exhale, the chest drops heavy, the head is heavy. Inhale, walk the hands back through center. Exhale, pull yourself into a tabletop position. And tucking the toes, just kind of swaying the hips left to right. Maybe you find some cat-cows if that feels nice, or you can just work through some barrel rolls. A lot of today's class is focused on the mobility of the pelvis. Well, some is mobility of the pelvis. We're going to work through that next. But we're also going to be working through the thoracic spine, the rib cage, the torso, and its relationship to the pelvis. So, taking these few moments to work through the spine in whatever capacity feels good, just taking note of what's showing up in your body. And then for our first movement, utilizing the props that we have today, we're definitely going to be utilizing the band, but you can also grab that block as well. So if you want a little bit of support, because we're going to be bringing hips toward the heels, so if that feels really far away, you can untuck the toes and just let your seat prop onto that block underneath you. Hands are going to be out in front of the shoulders. So it's kind of like a modified tabletop. It's somewhere between tabletop and cat-cow. That's where we're going to be. And then you're going to take this band, you're going to bring it around the back side of your ribs. So it's going to be around like kind of like the widest part of your ribs, or maybe even a little bit lower. What our goal here is to work through that area of the spine. That movement can sometimes pass over, or we can have a lot of movement there and we just need to move in the other direction. So depending on what's showing up for you, adjust as you need, but you're going to bring that band across the palm of the hands and then wrap it around your rib cage and find that sweet spot that feels good for you. And then you're going to hug and reach those hands out in front of you so you feel that tension in the band, and that band's going to almost want to draw the rib cage open, flaring those ribs forward, belly lengthens. You can let that happen in whatever capacity feels good for you. And then so inhale, let that lengthening happen within the front body, and then on the exhale, press down through the heels of the hands, round through the back body, tailbone tucks under, hip points reach up to rib points. Inhale, we let that band guide the rib cage down and forward, tailbone flicks back behind you, gaze lifts to the horizon, and then exhale, press the ground away, shoulder blades wrap around the rib cage as you tuck that tailbone underneath you. Inhale, guide that band back forward. With control, the chest unravels. Exhale, press the ground away, tailbone tucks, feel that mid-back press back into the band as the rib points and hip points connect in the front body. 2 more here. Inhale, belly falls, let the rib cage drop forward, tailbone reaches back, gaze lifts. Exhale, tuck that tailbone, hip points up to rib points. Press the ground away. I think I might have said 2 more, but we're going to do 1 more round. Inhale. Lengthen through the front body. Exhale, press the ground away. And then inhale. Come back to neutral. Exhale, press yourself back up, hips to heels. Awesome. Staying in that hips to heels position, that band can go to the side. We're not going to use it for any further postures. And then just giving yourself a moment to settle here in this space, feeling that stacking rib cage over pelvis, shoulders over rib cage, head over shoulders, shoulders drop down away from the ears. 2 breaths here, big breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Seal the lips, deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Short little side body stretch. Inhale, reach those arms up and overhead. Exhale, right fingertips plant, left arm up and over. Keep that left sit bone anchored. Feel that length all the way from the crest of the pelvis, through the armpit, through the fingertips. Exhale, hide the heart, reach forward on a diagonal. Keep that tailbone heavy toward the floor. Inhale, we open up. Exhale, reach, round, tailbone heavy. Inhale, come back up. Exhale through center, left fingertips plant. Inhale that right arm up and overhead, keeping the shoulders in line with the torso, with the hips. Find length through that reach. Length through the crest of the pelvis, through those fingertips. Exhale, hide the heart, reach on that diagonal. Keep that tailbone heavy toward the block, towards your heels. Inhale, we open up. Exhale, we reach. As those fingertips reach forward, that rib cage bumps back. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop that right hand down. Coming back into that tabletop position. We're going to find some rotation. And so when it comes to rotation of the spine, depending on the positioning of your rib cage, sometimes that closing off, that activation within the core can be really helpful. And then sometimes we need to open, we need to expand and create space within the front of the torso. So sometimes we need one over the other. Sometimes one side needs something, the other side needs something different. So just play with the balance of that, the asymmetries of that, and just see what shows up in you and your body. So what we're going to start with here is a nice rotation for an expansion within the back body and a nice engagement within the front of the core to help pull us into a deeper rotation within the thoracic spine, within the torso. So I have a roller with me, or a foam roller. I find that that helps facilitate that rotation. But if you don't have something like that, you can use a ball. You can even just use an active reach, fingertips to the ground, to help pull you into that space. But if we have one of these nearby, I'll show you that. I'll work with you through the setup here. And to start, we're going to come into a tabletop position. That roller is going to be the outside of that left hand. The right hand is going to come underneath the left, top of the hand to the foam roller. Press through that left hand to stay lifted and engaged through that left shoulder. Tops of the feet are down onto the floor, so we're nice and supportive, hips over knees. Inhale. We find length. Exhale, press the back of that right hand into the roller as you actively reach to the left side of the room. Inhale, we expand, breathe into the upper back. Exhale, pulls you into that rotation. Now keeping that left side lifted for me. Inhale, breathe into the back body. Exhale, reach a little bit further. 2 more. Inhale, expand with that breath. Exhale, we reach. Feel that right rib point coming closer to that left hip point. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, reach your furthest point. Inhale, come back up. Switching sides, right hand down, or roller comes to the right side. Right hand down. Left hand comes to that roller. So the back of the hand is down onto that roller, pressing through that right palm so that we're lifted all the way through that shoulder. We're not sinking and catching our weight into that wrist. So we're pressing the ground away, getting that strength and stability through that push, tops of the feet down to the earth. Inhale, press down into that left hand and then reach through those fingertips, feeling left rib point come toward the right hip point. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale into the back body. Exhale. Pull yourself deeper. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come back up. Go ahead and come hips to heels. Wonderful work. And then last but not least, we're going to incorporate the block. Now this one, you really don't need any kind of support unless you want to create some space between you and the ground. So with this one here, now we're going to work into some opening within that thoracic spine. So I'll start with that left hand side so you can see. The left foot's going to come outside that block. left hand to the block. So we have that nice marriage between the upper body and the lower body to keep that stability, that structure here in this space. You can always make that higher. You can keep that same connection regardless of the height. So right foot is still back behind us, top of the foot down to the earth, grounding down through that back shin, top of the back foot. Left hand to block, elbow to knee. Right hand comes to the back of the head, thinking of keeping the back of the neck nice and long. On the inhale, we rotate open, thinking of right elbow reaching toward the sky. Exhale, right elbow taps left, curl it under. Inhale, we open up, using that connection of the left side to help guide and reach as the right elbow lifts. Exhale, right elbow taps. Inhale, we open up. Right elbow reaches to sky. Exhale, tap it down. 2 more. Inhale, we open. Exhale, draw it down. Last one, we lift open, lead with that right elbow, long within the back of the neck, gaze follows. And then free up that top hand, reach to those fingertips, open a little bit further, broad across those collarbones. Maybe a roll of the wrist. Maybe clenching the fist and spreading those fingers wide. And then right hand comes down, switching sides, just kind of reversing our movement. Right hand comes down to the block, so just move that block out, open through the left. So bring that left hand up towards the sky. So just changing our orientation here just a little bit. And then keeping that lower body nice and stationary, just start to move through the left side of the chest, that left shoulder. So just creating circles here. Can be just the shoulder. You can incorporate the torso or the chest as much as you'd like. Switch directions. One last one. Big reach. And then come on back down. Switching sides. Left foot comes back, right foot comes forward. Give yourself a moment to find your shape here. Sole of the right foot down, top of the left foot down onto the earth. Little grounding there, so we're nice and supportive in that back leg. Right hand to block, adjusting the height as you would like. And then even adjusting that front knee as it feels good as well. So if it feels a little too snuggly, if you need to bring that knee out nice and wide, and give yet another block here, or just have hand to thigh, we can do that same bit of rotation. Okay, so there's ways to kind of create space with you and your body so this movement feels a little bit more comfortable. But make those adjustments as they feel good for you. I'm gonna stay a little bit more closed off here, but you're welcome to make those adjustments. And then on that left hand is gonna come behind the head, long within the back of the neck. Inhale, open up. Left elbow to sky, press down through that bottom hand. Exhale, left elbow to right, tap it under. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw it down. 2 more, inhale, open. Exhale, tap it down. Last one here, inhale. Lead with that elbow, press down through that bottom hand, and then free up that left hand, reach it towards the sky. Reach those fingertips. Maybe a roll or 2 of the wrist. Clenching the fist, expanding those fingers, kind of pumping through that hand. And then slowly that left hand comes down to the block, move that block over. And then inhale that right hand to sky. Find that twist, that rotation over that right thigh. Find that length across your wingspan first, and then create some circles within that right arm. Reaching, rotating, turning. Maybe it's just the shoulder to start, and then maybe we get the chest involved a little bit more, finding some cactus arms as we open and expand, reaching forward, maybe a little rounding, change directions. Last round. Exhale, close it off. And then bring those hips back down towards the heels, Vajrasana. Pause, come back into your breath. Options here to close out your class. Now, regardless of opening, closing, or things that you might feel within your body, sometimes it's just nice to move through that upper back, those areas that get a little bit stuck right across the shoulder blades. Now, I did mention just one block for class today, but if you have a second one, you are welcome to create a little ramp for yourself so that we can recline and feel nice and supportive. Here, the head is supported behind you. I have a little block I can add to show what that could look like. So that's going to be more of an opening for that rib cage. Again, if you already find that you are in a bit of a flare, that's okay. Truthfully, we did some good compression here in this class today, and this is really more for that space for the chest, and then just kind of leaning into that expansion, that length through the front body. So this could be nice. If your foam roller is full length, you might find another way, another soft way to have some expansion or get some expansion. Mine's a little shorter. Let's see if my short torso fits on here. So from the base of your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. Nope. So if you have a longer foam roller, this would be great. You can also two-piece it, kind of like me, and have that block to support as you just rest and recline here. This takes a little bit of that flare out of the rib cage, so a little bit more of a neutral spine here in this capacity, but you still get that nice opening across the chest. Or if there's any other posture that you find is really nice for you to kind of recover and restore in, legs up the wall, always a great option. Really any posture, supported 90-90 in a supine position, anything that you feel like you can be in for a few minutes, few moments to come back into your breath, to settle into your body before jumping back into your day. Now, this class was focused on creating some movement within the spine. Hopefully you felt a little bit of that. As always, modify, add, take away, whatever allows these postures to fit you and your body. It's not about forcing a certain range of motion or movement to happen. It's all about meeting you where you're at. Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about today's movement flow, please feel free to leave a comment. And if you enjoyed today's class, feel free to like, subscribe, and I will be putting more of these tailored classes out for you to follow along. Thank you again for being here, for practicing with me, and I hope to see you all soon. Have an awesome rest of your day.